The 10 Forgotten Biblical Remedies for Neck and Shoulder Pain. Have you noticed how quietly pain enters our lives? It rarely arrives all at once. Instead, it settles in little by little. One afternoon, your neck feels slightly stiff after work. A few weeks later, your shoulders seem heavier than usual. Months pass, and what was once an occasional discomfort becomes something you simply learn to live with. Most people assume this is just part of getting older, but perhaps it is not age that has changed. Perhaps it is the rhythm of the life we have chosen. For thousands of years, human beings lived beneath open skies. Their eyes followed the horizon. Their hands worked the soil. Their bodies moved with the rising and setting of the sun. Today, many of us spend our days looking down at glowing screens, sitting almost perfectly still, while our minds race faster than ever before. Our bodies were created for movement. Instead, they have learned stillness. Our minds were created for peace. Instead, they have learned constant urgency. And somewhere between those two realities, pain quietly takes root. The Bible never describes the human body as a burden. Instead, it describes life itself as a precious gift from the Creator. Every breath, every heartbeat, every step, each one is a reminder that we have been entrusted with something remarkable. Perhaps caring for our bodies is not simply a matter of comfort. Perhaps it is an act of gratitude. Today, we are going to revisit 10 timeless practices inspired by biblical plants, foods, and daily rhythms that have been treasured for generations. These traditions are not presented as miracle cures, nor are they meant to replace professional medical care. Rather, they invite us to slow down, pay attention, and rediscover simple habits that encourage comfort, healthy movement, and everyday well-being. Some of these practices may surprise you. One of them may become part of your morning routine. Another may completely change how you end your workday. Stay with me until Restoration 8, where we will explore a forgotten principle of rest that feels surprisingly relevant in today's busy world. If you enjoy learning about biblical wisdom, natural wellness, and God's remarkable design for the human body, consider subscribing to Eden's Medicine. Now, let us begin where Scripture so often begins. With the olive tree. Restoration 1. The olive tree. A symbol of peace and gentle renewal, few trees appear in the Bible as often as the olive tree. After the Great Flood, it was an olive leaf that announced hope. Kings and priests were anointed with olive oil. Homes were illuminated by lamps burning with its gentle flame. Generation after generation, the olive tree represented peace, endurance, and faithful provision. Its oil nourished families, protected skin beneath the desert sun, and became part of everyday life throughout the ancient world. Today, olive oil remains one of the most studied natural foods in the world, admired for its healthy fats and plant compounds. Yet one of its oldest traditional uses was beautifully simple: comforting tired muscles. Think about the way many of us work today. We lean toward our laptops. Our shoulders slowly drift upward. Our heads move forward a few inches. It may not seem like much, but even a small shift in posture places additional stress on the muscles supporting the neck. Hour after hour, those muscles continue working without rest. Eventually, they become tired, tight, sensitive. The body is not failing. It is adapting. And adaptation, when repeated every day, eventually becomes discomfort. Ancient families often warmed a small amount of extra virgin olive oil before gently massaging it into areas that felt tired after long days of physical work. The warmth encouraged relaxation. The massage encouraged circulation. The quiet moment encouraged rest. Perhaps the greatest benefit was not found in the oil alone. It was found in the decision to stop, to pause, to care for the body instead of demanding more from it. There is something deeply meaningful about that practice. In a world that constantly asks us to produce more, move faster, and accomplish more before sunset, taking 5 peaceful minutes to care for your own body becomes an act of stewardship, not because the body is perfect, but because it is precious. If you would like to try this ancient tradition, warm a small amount of extra virgin olive oil until it feels comfortably warm, never hot. Using slow, gentle movements, massage the muscles at the back of your neck and across the tops of your shoulders. Breathe naturally. There is no need to rush. Allow those few quiet minutes to become part of your evening rather than another task on your schedule. Sometimes restoration begins with something remarkably ordinary: a gentle touch, a quiet room, a peaceful mind, and a gift that has been growing on olive trees since biblical times. Restoration. 2. Frankincense, the fragrance that invites calm. Among all the treasures mentioned in Scripture, few have captured people's imagination quite like frankincense. It traveled across deserts with merchants. It filled places of worship with its rich aroma, and it became one of the precious gifts offered to the Christ child. For ancient communities, frankincense represented far more than fragrance. Its scent marked moments of reverence, reflection, prayer, stillness. Even today, scent has a remarkable connection to the human brain. Within moments of breathing in a familiar aroma, memories awaken. Emotions shift, breathing changes. Modern neuroscience continues exploring the close relationship between our sense of smell and the parts of the brain connected with emotion and memory. Perhaps this helps explain why certain fragrances have been treasured across generations. Stress often reveals itself long before we recognize it. Your inbox fills with urgent messages. A deadline moves closer. Your shoulders tighten. Your jaw becomes firm. Your breathing grows shallow. Without realizing it, your body prepares for a danger that never actually arrives. Many people experience this pattern every single day. If you enjoy essential oils, traditional practice recommends using frankincense carefully and responsibly. Always dilute it with a suitable carrier oil before applying it to the skin. A gentle massage across the shoulders while breathing slowly may become a peaceful evening ritual. Not because fragrance solves every problem, but because rituals remind the mind that it is finally safe to rest. This may be one of the forgotten lessons hidden within biblical life. Healing is rarely found in a single dramatic moment. More often, it grows through small daily choices repeated with patience. One peaceful evening, then another, until your body begins expecting calm instead of constant pressure. There is wisdom in slowing down. There is wisdom in breathing deeply. And perhaps there is wisdom in remembering that God filled creation with remarkable gifts long before modern medicine gave them scientific names. In our next restoration, we will discover another treasured resin from the ancient world. A companion to frankincense that traveled the same roads, appeared in the same sacred stories, and became one of history's most valued botanical treasures. Its story begins in the rugged landscapes of the ancient Near East, and surprisingly, it still has something to teach busy office workers today. Part 2. Restorations. 3, 4, and 5. There is an old saying that healing rarely happens all at once. More often, it arrives quietly. One peaceful choice, one healthy habit, one faithful step at a time. The next 3 biblical restorations remind us that lasting comfort is not found in chasing quick solutions. It is built through daily rhythms that honor the remarkable way God designed the human body. Let us continue. Restoration 3. Myrrh, the companion of strength. Whenever Scripture speaks of frankincense, another precious gift often appears beside it. Myrrh. The two traveled together across ancient trade routes. Together they were presented to kings. Together they appeared in sacred ceremonies. Yet, while frankincense became known for its calming fragrance, myrrh represented endurance. For centuries, Families treasured this aromatic resin as part of daily life. Its earthy scent reminded people that restoration was rarely rushed. It required patience, time, and faithful care. Today's world teaches us the opposite. We want immediate relief, instant results. One exercise, one device, one miracle solution. But our bodies were never designed to recover at the speed of modern technology. Think about a garden. When the soil becomes dry, no gardener expects it to flourish after a single watering. Healthy roots require consistent care. The human body follows a similar pattern. Muscles that have spent months carrying tension cannot always relax overnight. Yet every gentle stretch, every evening walk, every quiet moment of rest becomes another drop of water nourishing those roots. If you enjoy essential oils, myrrh has traditionally been blended with a carrier oil and gently massaged into areas that feel tired after long days of work. Its value is not found in dramatic promises. Its value is found in creating a peaceful evening ritual that reminds both body and mind that the day is coming to an end. Perhaps that is one of the forgotten lessons of biblical life. Healing is often less about finding something extraordinary and more about returning to what is beautifully ordinary. Restoration 4. The cup that brings peace. Pause for a moment and think about your afternoon. When energy begins to fade, what do most people reach for? Usually another cup of coffee or another energy drink. For a short time, caffeine may help us feel more alert. But many people also notice something else. Their breathing becomes faster. Their shoulders grow tighter. Their minds become even busier. Sometimes what the body needs is not more stimulation. Sometimes it needs permission to slow down. Ancient cultures understood the importance of simple herbal infusions. Warm drinks prepared from gentle plants became part of the evening rhythm, not because they were magical, but because they marked a transition. Work was ending, rest was beginning. Today, many people enjoy calming herbal teas, such as chamomile or peppermint, as part of a relaxing evening routine. Research continues to explore how these herbs may support relaxation and overall well-being, although individual experiences naturally differ. The greatest benefit may not come from the herbs alone. It may come from what the experience represents. You sit down, you put away your phone, you wrap your hands around a warm cup. For 5 quiet minutes, nothing demands your attention. In those moments, breathing naturally slows. The mind begins to settle. The shoulders soften almost without noticing. Perhaps peace has always entered our lives this way, not through noise, but through quiet, not through hurry, but through stillness. Restoration. 5 biblical fruits that nourish from within. When most people think about neck and shoulder pain, they rarely think about food. Yet every muscle in the human body depends upon nourishment. Every movement, every heartbeat, every breath begins with the fuel we provide. The Bible often describes fruit as a sign of God's abundance, not only because it satisfied hunger, but because it sustained life. Among the many fruits mentioned throughout Scripture, figs and pomegranates remain especially remarkable. The fig tree appears from Genesis to the New Testament. It became a symbol of peace, provision, and daily nourishment. Pomegranates decorated the garments of Israel's priests and the architecture of the temple itself, reminding God's people of beauty, fruitfulness, and faithful provision. Today, these fruits continue to attract scientific interest because they contain naturally occurring vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidant compounds that support overall health as part of a balanced diet. No single food eliminates pain, but healthy eating supports the systems that help the body repair and renew itself every day. Imagine trying to build a beautiful house without quality materials. Eventually, the walls become weak. The roof begins to fail. The foundation suffers. Our bodies deserve better building materials than processed snacks grabbed between meetings. Instead of reaching for another sugary treat during the afternoon slump, consider choosing a handful of dried figs, fresh pomegranate seeds, or other wholesome fruit. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Small choices repeated every day become powerful over time. Perhaps this is why Scripture so often celebrates daily bread rather than occasional feasts. Health is rarely built through extraordinary moments. It grows quietly through ordinary faithfulness. In the next chapter of our journey, we will discover how one of the simplest gifts in all creation may be one of the most overlooked. Water. Not merely as something we drink, but as one of God's oldest lessons about life, renewal, and restoration. Part 3. Restorations 6, 7, and 8. There is a quiet truth woven throughout Scripture. Life flourishes where there is living water. Gardens bloom when they are nourished. Trees grow strong when their roots remain deep. And the human body is no different. Sometimes what we call fatigue is simply a body asking for what it has quietly lacked all day. As we continue our journey, these next 3 biblical restorations invite us to rediscover gifts so ordinary that many of us overlook them every single day. Restoration. 6. Living water, the forgotten source of renewal. Water is one of the Bible's most enduring symbols, from the rivers flowing through the Garden of Eden to the wells that sustained entire communities. To Christ's invitation to receive living water, Scripture reminds us again and again that life depends upon faithful nourishment. Yet modern life often pulls us away from this simple truth. Many office workers begin their day with coffee, continue with more coffee, finish with another caffeinated drink. Hours pass before they realize they have barely touched a glass of water. The body notices. Muscles are made largely of water. The connective tissues surrounding them depend on hydration to move smoothly. Even mild dehydration can leave many people feeling tired, less focused, and physically uncomfortable. Sometimes the stiffness we feel at the end of the day is not only the result of poor posture. Sometimes our bodies have simply been waiting for water. A simple habit can make a surprising difference. Keep a bottle of water where you can easily see it. Take a few slow sips every hour, rather than waiting until you feel thirsty. If your healthcare provider has not advised otherwise, maintaining healthy hydration throughout the day supports many of the body's normal functions. Think of a young olive tree during a long summer. Without water, even the strongest tree begins to struggle. Its leaves lose their brightness. Its branches become less flexible. The tree has not become weak. It is simply asking for what it was designed to receive. Perhaps your body has been asking the same thing. Restoration. 7. The air around you matters more than you think. When we think about wellness, we often focus on food, or exercise, or sleep. Rarely do we stop to consider the air surrounding us every moment of the day. Ancient places of worship were designed with open spaces, natural light, and fragrant plants. People spent much of their lives outdoors. Fresh air was not a luxury. It was simply part of everyday living. Today's workplaces tell a different story. Many of us spend 8 or 10 hours inside climate-controlled buildings. Windows remain closed. Air barely moves. By late afternoon, the room can feel heavy. So can our minds. Have you ever stepped outside for only 5 minutes and noticed that your shoulders suddenly felt lighter? Your breathing became deeper. Your thoughts became clearer. Sometimes the change is not imaginary. A brief walk outdoors encourages gentle movement, fresh air, and a natural mental reset. If going outside is not possible, opening a window, adding a few indoor plants, or simply standing near natural light for several minutes may help create a more refreshing environment. No office can become the Garden of Eden. But even small reminders of God's creation have a remarkable way of calming the heart. Perhaps this is why Scripture so often draws our attention to mountains, gardens, trees, streams, and open fields. Creation gently invites us to breathe again. Restoration. 8. The forgotten rhythm of Sabbath. Rest. Of all the principles found in Scripture, few are as misunderstood today as Sabbath. Many people think of it only as a religious tradition. Yet, before it became a command, it was a rhythm woven into creation itself. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest, labor, then renewal, giving, then receiving. Modern culture celebrates constant productivity. Busy schedules have become a badge of honor. Many people feel guilty simply for sitting quietly. But our bodies were never designed for endless output. Even the strongest muscles require recovery. The mind requires silence. The heart requires stillness. What if we embraced a small Sabbath throughout the workday? Not for hours, just 5 minutes. Every 90 minutes or every 2 hours, stand up. Roll your shoulders gently. Stretch your arms toward the ceiling. Take several slow breaths. Look away from your screen and focus on something far in the distance. Allow your eyes to relax. Allow your jaw to soften. Allow your shoulders to fall naturally. You are not wasting time. You are protecting the instrument through which you accomplish every task. Many studies suggest that brief movement, breaks during prolonged sitting, can support comfort, circulation, and concentration. Ancient wisdom and modern science meet beautifully here. Neither asks us to work less. Both remind us to work wisely. Perhaps Sabbath has never been only about 1 day each week. Perhaps it also teaches us how to live every ordinary day. With balance, with gratitude, with enough humility to admit that we were never created to carry every burden without rest. As our journey continues, we will discover 2 final biblical restorations that quietly transform the places where we work and the posture with which we move through life. Sometimes the smallest changes become the beginning of the greatest renewal, and those final lessons are waiting just ahead. Part 4. Restorations. 9, 10, and the journey forward. There is something remarkable about gardens, not because they are perfect, but because they are alive. Every leaf quietly reaches towards the light. Every root faithfully draws nourishment from the earth. Nothing struggles to become what it was created to be. It simply grows. Perhaps our own healing begins the same way, not through force, but by returning to the environment our Creator intended for us. Restoration. 9. Bring a piece of Eden into your workspace. Take a moment and look around the place where you spend most of your day. A computer screen? Artificial lighting? Plastic? Glass? Metal? Perhaps there is very little that reminds you of the natural world. Yet, from the very beginning of Scripture, humanity's story begins in a garden. Before cities, before offices, before endless schedules. God placed mankind among living things, trees, flowing water, fresh air, growing plants. Modern research continues to explore how natural environments may support emotional well-being, reduce perceived stress, and improve our ability to focus. Perhaps that explains why so many people instinctively feel calmer after spending time in nature. Even a small reminder can make a difference. A healthy green plant beside your desk. Natural sunlight through a nearby window. Fresh herbs growing in a small pot. These simple additions cannot eliminate every source of stress, but they gently remind the mind of something modern life often forgets. You were created to live with creation, not apart from it. When your eyes rest on something living, instead of another notification, your breathing often changes. Your thoughts slow down. Your shoulders soften. Sometimes peace enters our lives through the smallest doorway. Restoration. 10. Standing upright. A daily act of stewardship. Our final restoration requires no special equipment, no supplements, no expensive treatments. Only awareness. Throughout Scripture, Standing upright often symbolizes strength, dignity, and hope. While these passages primarily speak to the heart and spirit, they also offer a meaningful reminder about the way we carry ourselves through daily life. Look at your posture right now. Is your head reaching toward the screen? Are your shoulders rounding forward? Is your lower back collapsing into the chair? If so, you are certainly not alone. Millions of people work this way, every day. The remarkable thing is that small adjustments, repeated consistently, often feel more sustainable than dramatic changes. Raise your monitor until your eyes naturally meet the upper third of the screen. Keep both feet comfortably supported. Relax your shoulders rather than pulling them backward with force. Allow your ears to rest gently above your shoulders. Imagine a string extending upward from the top of your head, not pulling, simply reminding you to stand with quiet confidence. Good posture is not about looking perfect. It is about helping your body move the way it was designed to move. One gentle adjustment today, another tomorrow, and another the day after that. Small acts of stewardship become lifelong habits. A final reflection. As our journey comes to an end, notice something remarkable. None of today's restorations were complicated. None required extraordinary technology. None promised instant transformation. Instead, they invited us back to timeless principles. Move often. Rest faithfully. Nourish your body. Breathe deeply. Choose peace whenever possible. Care for the body entrusted to you. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden throughout Scripture. God's design is often beautifully simple. Nature grows quietly. Faith grows patiently. Healing, too, often unfolds one faithful day at a time. Your neck and shoulders may carry the weight of deadlines, responsibilities, family, work, and countless unseen concerns. But your soul was never created to carry those burdens alone. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is pause, take one slow breath, lift our eyes, and remember that every new morning is another opportunity to begin again. I'd love to hear from you. Which of today's 10 biblical restorations spoke to your heart the most? Was it the gentle comfort of warm olive oil, the calming fragrance of frankincense, the reminder to drink more living water, or perhaps the forgotten rhythm of Sabbath rest? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may encourage someone else who is quietly carrying the same burden. If this journey has encouraged you, please consider subscribing to Eden's Medicine. Every week we explore the remarkable meeting place between biblical wisdom, God's creation, and practical habits that support everyday wellness. Our purpose is simple: to rediscover timeless lessons that help us care for our bodies with gratitude, wisdom, and hope. And if you would like to continue this journey, I invite you to watch our next episode, 10 Forgotten Biblical Foods that Help Reverse the Effects of Sitting All Day. You may discover that the path to feeling better doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with returning to the simple gifts that have been waiting for us since the beginning. Until next time, may your days be filled with peace. May your work be balanced with rest. And may you continue walking in the quiet wisdom of God's creation. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next journey.